Hello all and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. Today we're going to be focusing on some very clever dies. I'm going to be showing you these ones. Now if you haven't seen these before, they're very clever in the fact that they thread into each other. So if I bring you in to have a look at set A to begin with, all will come clear about the sets a little later, but I'll just show you how they actually work. So down these two dies, you'll notice that you've got these lovely little arrow style pieces that actually feed into holes that are going to be cut out of these dies. Now not every layer cuts the little slits that are required. That's pretty much every other one as we go through. So you can hopefully see the difference between the continuous blade on the die or the little short sharp pieces. The short sharp ones are cut perfectly to fit the little arrow pieces inside them. Now if I've already lost you, don't worry, I have an example to share with you. So let's pop this over here. Now I don't know how well you're going to see this, but hopefully you'll be able to see just about. There are nice little slits that go all the way spread out around my circle. Now these are the little arrows that other die cuts out. And all we do is just feed these into the slits. Nice and simple, just push it straight through. And then it's up to you. There's so many options for these. You can just leave them so you've got one side like I have here and fold it in so you've got a nice doily on the inside. You can add in a second like I have over here to give you one either side, or of course you could just have them coming out the other way instead. The options are yours. And this is just for starters. These are such clever dies because there is so much you can do with them and in so many ways you can use them to build up different effects. And as you can see, it's so simple to do. Once you've threaded them through to the back of them, it's up to you. On a lot of mine, I haven't actually bothered to glue them because they're quite tight in there. They're not really going to go anywhere unless you really yank them. But depending on the cardstock you're using, they do give you a little bit on the back here that you could glue it down. Or if you wanted to, just run some double-sided tape around the shape, possibly. Whatever your glue of choice is, but it would hold them permanently. But I just fold mine back, and that seems to keep them quite nicely in place. Nobody's really going to start tugging at it that hard, are they? With a little bit of hope. So that's a simple just threading them in idea. So let's go back to looking at the sets now. Hopefully you've got a better idea of what we're looking at. And then I'll show you a few examples I've actually made with these. So we started here with set A. To begin with, we have the arrows with this gorgeous doily style edge. We then have them with a pointed edge with a little oval in. So that's set A for your arrows. And then of course you've got this gorgeous circle to go with it. Now as I said earlier, only every other one has the little dots in it for you to thread them into. And in the middle you get this lovely little circle that's actually designed as a ribbon threader. So these two that cut this side are slightly wider, the actual slit. So you could thread ribbon through it and have it as a ribbon slider. Moving on to set B. This time we have two different designs for our arrows. Again we have this pointed style to the top of it, but they're little squares or rectangles this one cuts out in the top of them. Then we have a really nice delicate one that has three little hearts that get cut out the top of it. And then the oval is the same setup again. So outside ones are the full cut, and then we have the little slits on every other one going through with another ribbon slider in the middle. So let's have a little look at what I've been doing with these, shall we? If I start off with this card over here, so we've got an ordinary waterfall card, but this time, instead of actually cutting out like I have for the example one I've shown you, as like a topper, all I've done this time is taken just the die with the holes in it, so just the one with the every other skip sort of cut, and I've just put it onto my card blank, and I've sent that through my machine. I've then used the smallest size that comes in your set and done the same on each of the side panels, so all 4 in total, and just cut those. And then I've used the heart arrows, which come from set B, and just threaded them in. And as simple as that, just nice and elegant. I've done the little ones down the sides, obviously, and the largest one in the middle. Around the edges, we've just got peel-off borders. And I'll talk about this bit in a little while because I've got another example to show you where that'll come in. But this and this are both from that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But that, just as I say, shows you just a simple skip blade on the card and then thread them in, nice and easy. Moving on to our next sample. Now this is a bit naughty. I'm going to whet your appetite here. Not all the time, but sometimes the stamping magazine we stock, they send us the stamps early. And this issue that's coming up, we don't get it now for another couple of weeks, so hold your breath on this. But they have sent me our stamps to give you a little look at in advance. I'll be honest, we've stocked this magazine for years. This has to be my favourite set ever that they've ever created. There's just so much on this. If you don't normally have our stamping magazine, I would highly recommend you get it. The stamping magazine is only $5.99. Obviously you get a magazine showing you lots of ideas of how to use the stamps that they give you with it. Also has a lot of other techniques in there as well. And then on the back of the issue they give you a sheet of stamps like this that they estimate is worth over £20. And to be honest, I really can see that. If you look at the amount you're getting on these sheets, they really are quite a bargain. As I say, this doesn't come out for a couple of weeks, but if you do want it, you can of course reserve your copy in advance. Just post in the comments the store you wish to collect the magazine from, and we will have it held for you. But I just wanted to show you a few of the stamps, and so I've been a bit naughty, and I've made a few cards with them, just to whet your appetite. So we'll talk about the different stamps I've used on the cards, as well as the dies that we're talking about on the showcase. So if I show you this card here, this time we've used the oval from set B again, and we've actually used the pointed arrows with the little squares cut out of them, or rectangles as I say. So you can see that's how they're actually going to end up. Now this time you'll notice that I've actually cut it as a frame. So this is really easy to do. Again, not a challenge. All you're going to do this time is take the 3 blades. So you've got the filled-in one, the outside large filled-in one. You've then got the one with just the little slits that you pop in the middle of that. And then you've got another filled-in one that you pop in the centre of that. And then when you stick it through your machine, that time it will come out as an actual frame. So I've cut that in black. I've then cut a filled-in one, the large filled-in one, a couple more times. I've done one in parchment for my stamped image in the middle, and then I've done one in white to back the stamped image on. So if I turn this up here, hopefully you may be able to see, we've got our 3 different layers. Now, of course, although we're talking about these dies being used to do this slit technique and the folding in bits, they are great nesting dies on their own. You don't have to use the slit bits, and you could, of course, just create frames like I have here without the slits. So don't feel you're tied to doing that, but it is a lovely technique to do. So, as I say, I've used the little pointed arrow ones, and then in the middle here we've stamped one of the stamps off of this set. So this is our large flower, which is just here on your sheet to give you an idea of how that's coming out. I've just stamped this straight onto parchment using black memento, and I've coloured it in with Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. Behind that on the white layer, if we dig down here a little bit, you're going to see that I've just got an ordinary white stamping card, and I've used this texture stamp down here. Now again, just to hammer home what good value this magazine is, we do loads of stamps separately, absolutely hundreds of them. If we had a stamp like that available in the store on its own, that alone you'd pay at least $3.99 for. So to give you an idea, only $5.99 for all this lot, it really is a little bargain. Moving back again onto this, we'll have a little look at these. These are our postcards. So this is the same postcard after this set of stamps again. This time I've just distressed this with scattered straw and seedless preserves. You're going to know these are colours I use quite a lot if you watch the videos. Yet again, back for this week. Behind that we've got another just piece of stamping card. This time I've taken that same stamp from down here that we showed you earlier and just stamped it randomly all over the backing card to make a complete background. Now one of the other stamps that I really like that comes with this set is this gorgeous corner. The corner is hidden away right up here at the top of the sheet. It also has a matching little swirl and a little border bit as well if you do want to make up larger frames. But ever so easy to use just to pop into the corners. And I just think it sort of ties the colours together a little bit. Around the middle of the card I've got a piece of lace that I've also distressed to match in. I added a bit of tea dye to this for a little bit of contrast, but it does sort of hide away in the background a little bit. Of course, not forgetting the dragonfly. The dragonfly also comes from the set of stamps, as well as the little verse down the base here. Not older, just, oh, I can't read that, better. That's a good little verse, isn't it? Again, comes off of this sheet of stamps. Now I did want to pull your attention as well to this die in the background. This is one of our new dies. We launched this on our Facebook page on Friday. I don't know if you see this, but it's a large die. It's only $11.99. This time I've cut it in parchment, but hopefully you can see how delicate that is and what a beautiful die it is. I've just posted my postcard in one side over the top of it and under it on the other side, just to build up a bit of texture to my card. Nice and simple. Okay, let's have a little look at something else. So this one is another sample I've made. I haven't actually finished this off, quite a long way away from it really. I was thinking it might be quite nice for the top of a gift box, but it was more done to show you a different idea. Instead of having to use these all as individual layers, this is every layer of the circle cut, and then I've just used the pointed oval arrow as such that comes with set A, with the circles, and this time I've just threaded in one, just on one side. After I'd threaded them in, I just inked over the top of all of it, and it gives you that lovely shadow effect behind the die that's threaded in. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's quite a simple way of doing it, and hopefully it shows you how you can layer the designs to make a more intricate effect. I also thought these would be really nice if you did white on white work. If you're a white on white fan, these could look really lovely for that, because they're just so easy to use and got quite a bit of texture to them and a bit of depth. Okay, let's move on to this side. So, every week I have some form of easel card. This week can't be any different. So this time I've created a nice little monochrome easel. And obviously in the middle here we've gone for the circle again. Now this time again, same as one I showed you a moment ago, I've cut it just as a frame by using the 3 different layers to create my nice easy frame. And that again is done out of black card. I've then used the doily style one, the one that cuts out just the little dots, to thread in around the top here. And I think that's really beautiful. I know a lot of you are going to have doily style border punches as well that could really work quite nicely with this. I've got one myself, but to be honest, forgot about it. But that would have been lovely to go with this idea. Then behind it is another one of our new dies. So this is another one that we launched on Friday. A gorgeous little set, this one. This one's only $8.99. And this time I tried something a bit different. I hadn't personally done this before, but I'm sure greater minds than me already have. But all I've done is cut it out of white, and then behind it I've cut one out of black and just foam padded it together, obviously. And it sort of gives it a bit of a shadow effect. It depends on the angle you catch it on, but you sort of see the white and the black behind it, and it's a nice way to add in another colour or another depth without having to have a whole sheet of it. Not something I've done before, but I actually quite liked how that turned out. Hopefully you do too. Again, in the corners of my sheet, I've used that corner stamp that comes off of the sheet. And in the middle, I've got the butterfly that comes off of here as well. And a lovely little intricate stamp, that one as well. Never have too many butterflies. A little verse across the bottom here that says it's your birthday, once again comes from this sheet. And then down here, same corners done on that one. And in the middle is the matching little flourish border piece. Nice and simple card to make. Quite fun, nothing too difficult. Moving on, I'll show you this one. So this time I wanted to show you a different use for these dies again. These Sunday showcases are all about trying to show you different ways in which you can use them. You might not like all of the cards, but hopefully something will inspire you. And with products like this, there's just so many options that I could be here waffling on for hours, but I'll try and keep it short. So this time, all I've done is taken the die. So this is the one with the slits in it. And to create my aperture, I've then just taken the inside cutter and popped that through on top of a card blank. And then that means it's going to cut out the middle for you. And around that, it's going to cut all the slits for you to then post the pieces through. Now with this one, I've used the heart arrows that come with the oval in set B. And actually, what I didn't realise when I started this is all of these gorgeous little hearts that come out at the top make the perfect pieces to go into a shaker card. So after I'd sat there and made my chaos and mess by cutting out all of my little hearts, I picked them all up and popped them in the back here to make my own little shaker card. So at the back, all I've added is just a piece of Centura Pearl. I've stamped over it with a music stamp. It's not one that comes with the set, but it is available in store for $3.99. And then I've just added acetate to the top of it to keep them all in place. Built it up with some foam tape just to create an ordinary shaker card. On the top here we have the bird. That again comes from this set of stamps. Again, a really lovely stamp to use. And then down the corner here we have these flowers. Now I am a bit of a fan of the Heartfelt Creations flowers, but although I'm a fan, they're a little bit out of my price league. Well, these flowers actually remind me quite a lot of some of the ones they do. And this again comes on your sheet. So again, a really good little stamp to have. And especially with this set, you can't really go wrong. Same with the little bird he told me. It matches obviously with the little bird stamp. Comes off of the same set. And of course then on the inside you could stamp "It's your birthday" to continue the phrase on your insert if you wish to. A nice simple little card again. Okay, last card I've got to show you today is this one. Now this is obviously an Easter card as we are heading towards the season of Easter. So I thought it's time we did something a little bit Easterish. So this time I've cut my frame out, again using all 3 dies, and I've used the arrows with the ovals in them. I've just cut them out of white cardstock, posted them in again, and behind it I've used that same die, that $8.99 frame die. And also, worth mentioning, the actual decoupage is actually a rectangle, and I've just used the die the next size down from the frame to actually cut that out and pop it in the middle. So quite a nice way to use them again. Just another use for the dies. So that concludes all of my samples for today. Now obviously we will post all of those on our Pinterest page, so if you do want to go over and pin them, keep them in place, you can, and then that way you can refer back to them at a later date. Now obviously today is a Sunday showcase, so we have an amazing offer for you. Now I'm just going to try and rebuild these sets quickly so you can see what we're chatting about. So obviously we have set A and set B. Now normally these dies, let's have a little chat about the normal prices. Normally the actual nesting shape as such, that retails for $12.99 on its own. And then the little arrows that you pop inside the shapes sell for £5 a design. So for that set, for instance, you're looking at £22.97, roughly would be your normal price. Now, of course, this is a Sunday showcase, so you can buy all of that set, just set A or set B, for $12.99. But, if I haven't tempted you enough already, you can buy both sets and get all 4 of the arrows and both of the nesting dies for just £20, which is over half or under half the price that they should actually be if you was to buy them individually. Now, of course, this offer is just for this week only. It will end at 5 p.m. on Saturday the 18th of March. So if you do want them, please don't hang about. This isn't just a clearance offer from us, it's actually a clearance offer from our wholesaler. So the minute they're gone, we cannot get no more of these. So please don't hang about. If you do want them, post in the comments as quick as you can the store you wish to collect from, and we'll have them held for you. Obviously, if you'd like them posted to you, that's no problem either. You can pay via PayPal or you can pay over the phone by card. Just once again, post in the comments of where you wish to. Oh, you don't want to do that? Just post in the comments that you want them posted to you, and we will get in contact with you regarding payment, and then we'll get them dispatched to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I look forward to seeing you on next Sunday when we have our next Sunday showcase. Bye for now. Bye bye.